hear me, evening from sunny Somerset. Are you taking a mic? Yeah, listen, I'm going to tell you all some funny stories in a minute about where I am. And more or less people describing me as one of them softy southerners that's always fucking whinging about the cold. It's fucking freezing up here. But I will talk about that because it was actually quite funny today. Some of the things I've seen today. And don't forget, we got Ollie Owl behind me. I literally, so when I'm at EP70s, he's with his wonderful family just outside Manchester, I commandeer the kitchen, right, and just sit there like a gnome. Well, in this wonderful abode, I have commandeered, although it was made available to me, to be fair, I didn't really commandeer it, but there's a little desk thing, right, that is set up now in front of me, with I forget what it's like a thing that you would use in bed, but it's got a tilt thing on it. It's got a little drawer on the side. It's got everything, and you can set the level of it and all that, right? And then the laptop sits on top of it. And then what I was trying to explain to the lady that I am staying here with is that's what I do at home. Like I said, believe it or not, when you look, I said the laptop is sitting on 3 or 4 books, but what I really need is one of these little things, and I can set it up. So we went out online and found the exact one, because this one is made out of bamboo, right? Quite an old one, and it turns out it's like 15 quid. And then you get the extender, and I can start recreating, or try and recreate as much as I can the studio. But don't forget, share and subscribe. Right, let me put this back up on the screen, and I'll go back out there just in case. So is everyone seeing and hearing me? I've got a few 5x5s, and there's a few things I want to talk about tonight. But I'm going to tell you some funny things, so keep sharing, because this, I have no doubt that people will think it was funny. I went and put a video out today. Let's see if I can go and find it for you. And I am going to go through some other things, including an email. Let me see if this one comes up. Let me have a quick look, because we need to sort this. So I'll find out from my profile if it's on there, right? So it's coming out there. Don't forget, this is a makeshift. A few things I want to show people. So this is me. Yeah, right. And I've put it out. I thought this was hilarious. There's more to this story, by the way. I've got to tell you, because this is sort of a DD on tour, if you like. And I know that some people are going to think this is highly amusing. You won't be able to hear this properly, but Barrow-in-Furness, right? And then what I'm going to do is bring it up on the screen, right? I'll run it, but you won't be able to hear it properly. But here goes.
Go. Hello, yes, this is Danny Dragon, reporting from Barrow-in-Furness. I've got one thing to say, as a southerner and a Londoner. It's not back there for 30 years.
By the way, the wind was blowing through the phone as I was effing and blinding about the weather, right? Saying, yes, this is a whinging southerner, and it is no wonder that northerners are fucking mental when they live in conditions like this up here, right? So we're overlooking, and the video is going to show you there's a wonderful... The wind was so bad at some point when we was walking down the road, because I got a bad back, the wind was just smashing against me, and I was going, oh my God, am I going to make it to the car? That's a castle in the background on a little island. Right, I'm going to take that off again. Go back to my normal screen. Hopefully you can all see me, right? Now, I know and do realise you couldn't hear any of that because of the amount of wind that was running through the actual phone, right? And I need a dead cat on it. It was more done as a joke, just to show you what the fucking weather like is up here, right? And every 5 minutes I keep turning around to Kaz and saying it is fucking freezing up here. She just keeps laughing at me, right? But let me tell you something. It's good to get up here because these are the type of areas. When I say type of areas, Barrow-in-Furness is a proper full Comanche working class area, right? I think it was actually voted at one stage in its lifetime as the most working class place in England, right? And they judged it on how many pubs there was, how many betting shops, and how many social clubs. Well, that's exactly what it was like where I lived, right, in Woolwich, because Barrow-in-Furness is a large defence contractor area, right? And I kept saying, you can see these big companies drawing the money out of the community. Nothing's being spent on the community, right? All these corporations are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger bribes and bigger with this and bigger that and bigger these people, and all being paid millions of pounds a year to run these companies, and they're not doing anything for the local community. And I want to make sure I'm emphasising this to everyone. I am not a communist. I am not. I believe that a working person shouldn't be charged any tax whatsoever in the same way as what President Trump is doing. If you earn less than $200,000 a year, you shouldn't be paying tax. If you're a pensioner, you shouldn't be paying tax. You've been paying tax all your entire life, right? And then there's a few things that I wanted to talk about because there is, I wouldn't say it's a new version, but it's a new type of Bible that is the correct translation. It's called the Keys of the Kingdom. And I'm just going to show you, there it is there, right? And it's a direct translation. If I could show you, he spent 25 years of his life translating this Bible. There's a particular part of it that was interesting to me, and I'm just going to say what it is. Where was? Oh, there it is. And it was about tax. So taxes from the fish's mouth. And when they had come to Capernaum, those who take the double drachma came to Peter, right? If I remember rightly, the drachma is a Greek currency, right? Came to Peter and they said, does your teacher not pay the double drachma? He said, yes. And when he went into the house, Jesus anticipated him, saying, what do you think, Simon? From whom do the kings of the earth receive tax or tribute? From their own sons or from the outsiders? And Peter said to him, from the outsiders. Jesus said to him, consequently, the sons are free men, right? Now, this is in the Bible. What does it mean? All right. And I'm not a preacher. This is a direct translation. It's different to, and all I want to do is emphasize something that President Trump is doing. He is applying tariffs on outsiders. And he is saying that the people of this nation should not be taxed. He is saying, I am returning the people to Main Street and moving away from Wall Street, right? And I just want to make sure everyone gets what I've just said. I was going to put out a glimpse of that, but I thought that struck me. And as I was talking about the tax situation to a gentleman who come around and see me tonight, named Steve, who's going to be at the seminar. And again, I need as many people as possible to come to the seminar in Cumbria, in Barrow-in-Furness. This is a proper working class area, right? I'm just a normal working class man. There's nothing special about me. All I do is talk about our constitution and tell you how you've been conned and who are the people doing the conning, and that you need to take it back, right? And we do need to go back to a Christian nation. But I think that this book, again, a direct translation of Hebrew, I believe, and Sumerian, over quite some time. And if this is the, and God, it's got so many markings in it, it's fantastic, right? And there it is. Just to make sure that everyone understands the type of people I stay with. So Hebrew and Greek is, right? And the lovely people that put me up, right? And allow me to stay with them. And again, you've got that little, I don't know what that is, but it looks wonderful. A little cross there that everyone go, oh, right? And them things. So when I start talking about things, Claire's got that book out and said, you need to, I was like, what's that book you got there? She went, the Bible. Look at how many sections have been marked off on it. I was like, yeah, I like that. So there's a few things we're going to be talking about. I'm going to put that back over there for a second, and hopefully. And I've also got a special tea made for me here. And we've been out. So again, I just want to make sure everyone understands. This area is a proper working class area. I love coming to these places, but one of the things it highlights is how much it's gone downhill. And I'm not being disrespectful to anyone in this area. They have done it deliberately. And there's another thing that I want to show you, which I'm going to show you now, because I'm pretty sick and tired of people talking about this. And I'm going to show you on their screen about they don't represent us. So Rupert Lowe, I am not a member of his party, but we need us to be in there, and we need to be able to influence from the inside, right? They've now dispatched another document called Castle Doctrine, which they're going to be referring back to our right to keep and bear arms. But nowhere in the document does it say we've got an English constitution and an English Bill of Rights, and it should do. That's why I think they need speaking to. They keep saying that they've got these scholars working for them. They're young scholars. They are still products of the slow march through the institutions, and they are indoctrinated to believe things that are not quite true, right? So on your screen, hopefully you should be seeing this, right, is the National Identity 2011 Census. I want you to study the screen. I want you to resend this out, and I want you to send this to Rupert Lowe and explain. I've sent a number of them out today with slightly different variations of what I've said. But you've got British at the top there. And what that actually did was show that the only place really that was British was London. Now, everyone should understand that people keep talking about the Westminster bubble. The British Union flag is a representation of the British Parliament. It is not the representation of the countries. It is the representation of Parliament itself, the actual bubble. And anyone waving the British flag anywhere in England is actually supporting the Westminster bubble, which is something that it shouldn't be, right? So everyone should understand that. The other place where a lot of people regarding themselves as British rather than English or Northern Irish was actually Northern Ireland. That's not a good thing. But then when you look at Scotland, 5 million people, you look at Wales, 3 million people, you look at Northern Ireland, 1.9 million people, I believe it is, and then you look at the 57 million that are in England. But look at that drawing, go through it, look at the figures on the left. The graph jumps out at you. Who is it that regards themselves as British? And those residing in London, which is the foreigners. Now, the American Constitution was transferred to the United States of America, literally transferred, and just to emphasise this, the founding fathers of the United States of America was very clever. They knew that there was going to be a big problem in the United States after independence. What do I mean by big problem? They knew that the cities were going to expand because the biggest difference between Tories, for example, and the Whigs, where the Whigs were another class of people. They was like us, like the new middle class. And the Tories were the robber barons, were the old classes that were trying to keep us as slaves and tied to the land. And they didn't like the fact that we had started earning, good money and doing our own thing. Various reasons in England, from the plague to major revolts against the system, which we now got again. But what they did in America was they created something called the Electoral College. And the Electoral College understood that at some stage in the future, the cities in America would become so big and so powerful that the rest of the population that lived in the independent states of America would start to see that they would be persecuted by the cities and enslaved by the cities, that you wouldn't have an equal say. So they created something called the Electoral College, and I think it's about time in this country that we create something very similar that would stop places like London imposing their views on the rest of England in particular, right? But I'm going to bring that up again and just make sure that everyone understands what it is. So I'll bring it up on the screen. If you see, let me see if I can bring it up on the screen. So the National Identity 2011 Census. And you can see on there, you obviously got Scotland. I am literally up there, not far from the Scottish border, facing the Isle of Man. And again, you can see these are all English areas, right? They're not British. If you have a look on there, it tells you red, 75%. So look at the colour chart. And then when you go into London, this whole area that you're seeing on your screen that has actually got, if I bring it up on the screen again, it's actually got the British Union flag there. That is representing London, right? And you are all being hijacked and your rights are being taken away by them people. The American founding fathers understood that that was going to happen and created the Electoral College, and it is the Democrat Party that's trying to remove that, right? Because they want the cities to control the rest of England. So just have a quick look at that and you'll see what I mean. So the Welsh are the Welsh, the English are the English, the Scots are the Scots, and then you've got a handful of English or Ulster flags there. They're what's known as, and I'm talking about Ireland now, they're what's known as loyalists. And they're loyal to England and the English Bill of Rights, the Protestant settlement, right? The rest of them mauve areas, which you should be seeing on the screen, if you go and have a look at this thing, right, at the top there, you've got dark mauve, British, all British, right? And that is why you've got such a problem with Northern Ireland, right? That problem technically doesn't exist in England. It's not being spoken about by Restore Britain, and what they need is a real Englishman that understands the English constitution to start talking about this, and especially our right to keep and bear arms. So I'm going to take that off again, go back to another particular part of this. Let me have a look. Old Stevie is going to have his dinner in the floating restaurant, an old part of Mulberry Harbour that never went to Dunkirk. Don't know if that place is out there. White Dragon 81. What's your thoughts on the Heritage Party as all but English Constitution Party have turned out not so loyal to their people? What's your thoughts on the Heritage Party? I really like David Curtin. Unfortunately, he's not born of English parents. So constitutionally, the same reason Why I do not support Benjamin Hayib Nahim Hayib is why I won't support him. He's not born of English parents, plural. Right, let me just have a quick look. Let me just say this to you. My future wife has accidentally sent me a picture of her wedding dress, and now she's fuming that she accidentally did it. Right. I won't say what I said to her about her wedding dress. What a platform did someone make a fake account on? Rumble is the answer. Someone's just asked me that question. So let me go back. I need to go and take a few other things on here. Oh, I'm probably rubbing my feet against something again, which I am always doing. There's something else I wanted to show you. I actually will show you this. There's a document. I am reading through these documents. I think they're important. What I'm going to do now is try and show it on the screen. I think it's that one. No, it may be that one. Here it is, that one. Right. What I don't want to do is show anything else on the screen. Retaking the English castle, self-defense in an era of anarcho tyranny. So when they talk about anarcho tyranny, I agree with that statement to a large degree. I would say more chaotic or chaos. We the English have rights, and again, they're not talking enough about that. They have been indoctrinated, and they don't like mentioning England. And these are English rights. These not anything else, right? So, about the author's executive summary, introduction: the English tradition of ordered freedom, the onslaught of anarcho-tyranny, the disarming of the law-abiding Englishman, the weakening of the integrity of the home, the Scottish situation, the right of a jury of one's peers, and the attack on self-defense and conclusion, right? So the Bible also says, by the way, and so did Lord John Somers, and so did Lord Chief Justice Holt, that that if you did not defend yourself from attack, you was in effect causing suicide, which is the ultimate sin, and therefore you're committing a sin by not defending yourself. And every Englishman had the right to defend himself. This goes back well before the English Bill of Rights, and we have the right to defend ourselves, which I will be going more forward with. But legalised pepper spray, all firearms. So in Northern Ireland, what a lot of people don't realise, if you was to apply for a firearms certificate in Northern Ireland, you can put on there for self-defense and they'll accept it. There's actually a tick box for it. So you've got concealed carry. You're not allowed to do that in England. That's why in a lot of things I talk about in Northern Irish, that they have a greater understanding of the English Bill of Rights than what the English do. So again, it is the chief constable, and it was the policy of continuous British governments that have disarmed the people. And we need to retake our rights. We need to restore our rights. We need to restore our constitution, because we have a constitution. It is still there. It is in force, just not being enforced. And that is what they need to understand. So again, repeal Scotland Hate Crime and Public Order Act, preserve trial by jury in all criminal cases, especially those involving self-defence or defence of property. And again, we have currently, I'm not going to say too much about it, but there is a case coming up at the moment that I'm dealing with, and we're going to be dealing with the right to keep and bear arms during that case. The disarming of law-abiding Englishmen, legalised pepper spray. Pepper sprays are nothing. I accept that they have to start somewhere. But again, they go for all the rapes in the country, etc. This is a document that people should read through. So I'm going to stop sharing that for a second. I'm going to cut that out. I'm going to go back to another particular, and I'm going to read this out and not actually show it, because if I can't click on it and bring it up. But someone has sent someone else an email. Actually, it went to Andy the Gabby Cabby, and Andy the Gabby Cabby has forwarded it onto me as a way of emphasising your right to remain silent. And it's really important that people understand that it is for the state to prosecute you, not for you to prosecute yourself, right? There is number one rule: shut up, right? Do not say anything, and I mean nothing, right? So this is what the person has wrote to Andy the Gabby Cabby. Hi, Andy. Referring to several of your videos where you emphasise keeping your mouth shut when dealing with the police, I've just experienced a 4-day trial with a family member that was found not guilty. I won't bore you with the case details and what was involved, but the value of the no comment police interview played a significant part. I took my relation to the police station, and during the journey there, I pointed out very strongly that no to questions should be answered. No questions should be answered. At the police station, we met the solicitor, and I stated the same thing. The solicitor agreed, and the interview was completed with no comment answers. This was all 3 years ago, and following the interview, my relation was charged, regardless of case details and verdict. During the prosecution stating the case details, he made quite a big deal of the no comment interview, strongly suggesting that this is a common strategy used by guilty, basically by the guilty, basically to avoid saying anything that can later be proved wrong. And he also added that my relation even refused to answer a simple question like, and listen to this, did this incident take place at night or during the day? He was desperately trying to tell the jury that if my relation wouldn't even clarify night or day, he clearly had much to hide. This is why these barristers and prosecutors are disgusting. The CPS have only existed since 1985. Remember that, right? So again, now, fortunately, we had a very knowledgeable and pretty fair judge. Before the barrister had a chance to object to the defence barrister had a chance to object to these suggestions, the judge intervened. He told the jury that to remain silent is a right, and his solicitor advised it. So you must not infer anything from it. He then told the prosecution to continue with evidence, not speculation, and leave the point of his silence alone. I could see the prosecution disappointed at being told off, and also saw how the jury paid that close attention. Several wrote things down on notepads. We got a well-deserved outcome with name cleared. We have contacted police with instructions to remove details on file about my relation, so my relation can return to the previous status of absolutely no criminal record. So this is evidence that remaining silent is the best advice, and I wholeheartedly support it. I also see trickery here. Remember, over a decade or more ago, when they changed the police caution, it changed from anything you can say can be held against you into anything you rely on in court. So looking back at the court case, I was thinking, so this is why the prosecution stated my relation would not state if it was day or night. You need to be very careful, because these simple questions, which is why I've said if they ask you if you want a cup of tea, right, and you say yes to a cup of tea, they can bring in the whole of the recorded interview, which they're not allowed to do if you say no comment to everything. So they're questions, the incriminating questions, and then you saying no comment, that looks bad to a jury. It shouldn't do, but they will play on it, right? That's why if you say no comment to everything, they can't do anything. because he didn't say something under the caution or a line on it court, right? We were lucky enough to have a decent judge, but it really made me wonder about cases that may not have decent judges. If a judge lets this by and it becomes an argument between prosecution and barrister, prosecution is a barrister, so prosecution and defence, a jury may well take the prosecution side. I just wanted to provide some actual proof that remaining silent is the best direction, and any statement given is only evidence against yourself and only benefits the police. I absolutely agree. Unless, of course, you are saying to the people, and which we will be, in a certain other case, that there is a case stated, and what we're saying is we are relying on the English Bill of Rights. It is for a judge to then tell the jury, you have a constitutional right, a constitutional settlement in this country, and by this country I mean England, to the right to keep and bear arms for self-defence, all right? And whatever that arm is, could be a gun, could be a knife, could be anything, could be pepper spray. It's whatever your means are, right? So I don't know exactly what's going on in Galton and Denton, but I want a few people to tell me what's going on there. Let me have a look. What is this other? The foreigners shouldn't be voting in our elections, obviously. Let's go back and have a look. So I am now going to look. Did you all understand that? I couldn't show the email. But it was an email that I wanted everyone to understand. Keck Angel, thank you. Everyone listening, don't forget, hit the like button. Don't forget, we are in Barrow-in-Furness, and keep punting that out there because we want people to turn up. And I've driven a long way from Devon to come up and speak to these wonderful people. And it is absolutely freezing, and I've got a bad back. But I am being looked after. I am getting the best of teas. Talking of tea, right? And I could even get some hot water out of that kettle. But I can hint as much as I want. I'm hearing the settee squeak. Right. But this is lovely up here. I do love it, and it's very much like. Oh, come on then. Oh, that'll do. Well done. I've got an open fire over there. I showed you, but not the open fire. It's called a log fire, but it's got a panel on the front, and it's got a whatever. What's it called?
Stove. The log burning stove.
It's got a stove.
It's called a log burning stove.
It's a log burner stove. There you go, and it's lovely, and it's nice and warm in this front room. A lot warmer than my front room. Now on Greasy B News, problem not on till 10 p.m. What ain't? Hello Graham. Let me have a look. Who's this? Hello Graham. Steve here. Met earlier tonight. Looks like that mullion is working. Keep it up, mate. Oh yeah, this is this stuff here. I've got so Steve come round earlier, and then we went round someone else's. There's someone used to watch me years ago, and they stopped watching me, I think, because I'm not on YouTube, right? But then Kaz said, like, this lady's watched you for years and years and years and years. I said, where's she living? She went over there, and the lights was on. She went, go knock on the door then. So we're doing a knock, 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 right? And her husband's opened the door and gone, oh, cool, well, I met you. And I said, hello, how you doing? And she said, she's not here. She's out. So anyway, what we did was took a picture of me by her front door going like, hello, like that. And then has sent it to the ladies nephew, and the nephew sent it to the auntie and said, "Guess who was knocking on your door?" And she's like, "Oh, I missed him. Right, is he coming back?" I said, "Yeah, we'll see if we can pop back there." And then we got a couple of people we're going to see tomorrow. But that's what I mean. I do like getting out and meeting people. Got no problem with sitting there having discussions with people. People ask me straight, "What do you think of this?" or "What do you think of that?" And I just generally tell them. And then some of the things that I talk about on the show, obviously, but I also talk about it, but I am massively impressed with this little setup here. Let me just show you that. That's what I'm eating, and that's what I'm drinking at the moment. Does everyone understand what that is? Mullion mix tea reef, right, whatever that is. We'll put that to one side. I wonder if I can actually show you. Probably going to show you. I'm going to try and show you this. Let's see if this works. Might cause a few problems if I do this, but we'll try it anyway. Let's have a look, see what it does. If I was to change my camera to the iPhone camera, right? Do you remember what I said? Like, you can see my box of tissues and my stuff there. That's a little table thing that I said, right? So it's sitting on top of the table, right? Have a look at that. All right. Let me have a quick look. And then on the side of this, right, we've got a little drawer on it. Where's the green drawer gone? Oh, there it is. Right. it's got a little drawer on the side and everything. It's the nuts, right? But you can adjust the feet on it, and it sits there. So at home, what I would be having at the moment, and then this thing comes out, right? So you can take that off, right? But that could sit on my desk, and then I've got the actual camera thing there like that. And it lifts up, does all sorts of strange things. So that Kaz is lifting it, right? But that is the type, so that's what I need to get sorted out in there. And there's my little cup of tea and everything, just thought I'd show you. What I'm going to do now is go back to my main camera. Hopefully, there you go. So I've just gone back to my main camera. Did you all see that? Did you see how masterfully switched cameras to an iPhone? Listen, you're loving this, aren't you? He's the governor at this, aren't you? And then we've got Ollie Owl behind us. I should have shown you. Oh no, you can already see it, can't you? But they're photographs. So let me have a quick look. Hello, Graham. See you earlier, Steve. Yep. I think Steve can vouch for I'm just a normal everyday person, so we were sitting there having a chat. So when I go and do it, and my back is still killing me at the moment. I've got to get up and do some more walking, so hopefully we'll go for a bit of a walk. Got to tell you something. Kaz is on a, I wouldn't call it a diet, it's a lifestyle change, which is carnivore. Some of the food I've had here is absolutely superb. I've got to tell you something, all the food I've had here is superb. And I love meat all day long. It's the absolute opposite to a vegan, right? But Kaz is fit, right? Slim, fit, energetic, running around doing all these different things, also doing gardening. Oh, we are. This is what made me off. Kaz said, "Have a look at this book because you'll probably like. Listen, I'm just going to say it, right? Can you all see that? I was going to make that the actual image of the show. Why vegans have smaller brains, right? And it just makes you a lot healthier. Yeah, I'll put that on there because it goes pear-shaped. Oh, there it goes. I'm sure someone's out there. I'm sure there's some vegans out there hissing and everything at me. But yeah, no, tonight. So I don't, because it sort of suits me at the moment because I'm trying to get away from the gluten side of it, right? So we will get back onto what else we're talking about. Everyone's laughing. What did you think of that book, though? That is the nuts, isn't it? Oh yeah, right. And that is what we're talking about there, the carnivore diet, right? So where you're only talking about meat, no real vegetation at all, no carbohydrates, but you must eat. So first of all, you must drink plenty of water, and two, you must also have plenty of fat in the diet. So you're talking about, and you can have eggs, you can have all this bacon, you can have and streaky bacon. Last night we had a really lovely stew, which was beef, and the beef was superb. And then you're sitting there and you're thinking, quite like this. And the only thing is, I've got a bit of a sweet tooth, so I have to try and knock that on the head as much as possible. Beef-tastic. Archie not saying that out there. Let me have a look. Yes, carnivore. Yeah. But so my objection has always been in the past that you've got an overload of protein on your kidneys, because your kidneys are what have to sort out that, and the way you deal with that is eat more fat, and your body will directly use the fat and the meat and the protein and everything else in it, and as long as you're eating and drinking healthily other than that, it is a healthy diet. So we're going to see what happens after that. Plenty of curtain beef, DT. What's curtain beef on its own?
I think he's meaning this.
Oh, yeah. I think I've just been advised what curtain beef is. How do you know what that is? and the other thing I said as well, and again, this is a really lovely abode, right? I'm not being derogatory when I say this at all, but being a man living in a lady's house who's lived on her own, by the way, heterosexual, single, right? In other words, not a fucking dyke. But you can tell it's a lady's house, and there were certain little things that, I mean, it makes me giggle, because I think you can tell this is a lady's house because of certain things in the house. Do you know what I mean? Or the way the house is set out, I should say. So little things like that. But yeah, the lovely open fire, which I'm sure will be restocked in a couple of seconds. Yeah, it's lovely. But I am being looked after up here. So getting back, don't forget, I am up here in Barrow-in-Furness. It's a proper working class area. I love it. I can see, and this is what upsets me, when I see what I regard as my people, and especially this type of area, apart from our accents, we're exactly the same, right? And you can see that these big companies up here have just drawn out all of the wealth of the area, and it's going into the corporations, and everyday people like me and you are the ones who suffer. So we've got to get rid of all these regulations and go back to being, as best we can, normal working people that are not taxed. Tariffs are a way of taxing outsiders to your nation, not the insiders. And again, that is one of the things that Jesus spoke about, which is in that Bible, which is why I brought it up. Animal fat, not seed oil. So someone, Ant 25, exactly right. Don't touch seed oils. Seed oils are really bad for you. So everything that's cooked here is either a stew, cooked in dripping, or it's cooked in, some sort of real fat. I've got to say, so it's absolutely lovely. Removes inflammation, which is a good thing. Yeah, you can. So any form of inflammation I've currently got should be starting to be removed, but we will be talking more about that at the moment. What's taking so long makes it suspicious. You did too well for him, DT. I don't know. I've spoken to him a couple of times. When he's ready, he'll release it. There may be bits that he wants to edit. I don't know. He did say to me, "This don't need editing." And he said, and he also said to me, Liam, he said, some people I interview, he said, I ask them a question, they're like, he said, don't get any of that with you. You're just like, bang, straight back, bang, straight back. If you know a subject well enough, and again, remember I'm about England, it doesn't mean I don't like Scottish people, that's nonsense. I don't like Welsh people, that's nonsense. In fact, if you have that attitude to whether it be the Northern Irish, the Cornish, the Scots, the Welsh, that is very British, and it's divide and rule. We are a brotherhood of nations, and it is a common law union that we should go back to, and back to the real laws of England and the Constitution of England. Eggy wigs and long ticks of toast. I don't know what that means. Tracy, let's see if there's anything else coming up on there. He may just be finding all the relevant documents to show what Graham was talking about. Maybe. I don't know. I don't think he does things like that, but he may do. Taffy Pat, very well said, DD. Graham, check WhatsApp. Let me check WhatsApp. See what's going on there. It's 8 p.m. in case you didn't realise. That must be Graham Moore. Mary, mechanic. What about questions under the Terrorist Act? Can't remain silent, or can we? Any questions, I don't care who it is and what they say, Terrorist Act or otherwise, it is no comment. You have an absolute right, and the problem is people are not challenging it. You have an absolute right to remain silent. You cannot take away someone's rights, and it was Sir John Laws in the Metric Martyrs case that stated this. If you're going to take away the common law rights of the people, you have to state it on the face of the bill, not bury it somewhere where no one can see it. That's why I'm saying that all of these laws that have been removed from us, including the right to keep and bear arms, including firearms, licenses, etc., all of these things where they're infringing our rights to keep and bear arms, people are now seeing why they did it. And the government and the communists that are currently in control of this nation, and this nation, I speak of England, they knew exactly what they was doing. Like I said to Liam Tubbs, we lost the Second World War, and people need to understand that. We lost the Second World War. We may have beat the Nazis, if you want to describe the fascists as that, but we lost to the Soviet Union, and the Soviet Union then infiltrated every level. They was already infiltrating because of the Fabians. It wasn't difficult to do what they, to the point. And it was Clement Attlee that brought in the British Nationality Act 1948, and particularly it was a Schedule 4. These things need to be brought back. We need to go back to our original constitution and the actual Protestant settlement. And if people don't like that, it is because they want to subvert the English constitution, and they have knowingly done so. So we just want to make sure we get that. So hopefully I've answered that question. What about questions under the Terrorist Act? Not that many people's going to be questioned under it, but it is always no comment. Even if they bang you up for a week, even if they confiscate all your equipment, you never ever say anything to them. We are bringing thousands of people into politics who have never voted before, ever. That's who you should be targeting. This is Restore Britain. The surge is bigger than anyone realises. And again, I don't know what this one is, but I'm going to play this. I don't know what this one is, but we're going to play it. This is Andy the Gabby Cabby saying something.
I just read a disturbing tweet from Howard Cox saying there's fun and games going on at the Gorton and Denton by-election. Be under no illusion. If elections are interfered with, it's an offence against the Representation of the People's Act. Criminality. And not only that, under the English Bill of Rights, you have the right to participate in free and fair elections. Don't fuck about. Call the police. Get it put a stop to. I just read a disturbing tweet.
Got to be honest with you, I don't trust our elections as far as you can throw them, and that's part of the problem. Paul Weston, is the survival of England and the English between now and 2050 guaranteed? 100% guaranteed. by the democratic process and peace? If the answer is no, our politicians have committed acts of immeasurable evil. I agree entirely. What is this one here? Young Bob, I confronted the deputy leader of Reform UK, Richard Tice, on Lala Cunningham's recent statements about Restore being neo-Nazis, whether they'll win the Gordon and Denton by-election, and whether they believe that the factions on the right will cause them to lose at the next general election. What do you think about democratic replacement? Let me have a look and see what he says. I want to show a few of these. So we need to keep an eye on that. I really need to know what the result's going to be. But here it is here. Here's young Bob. I like young Bob, by the way.
Tough.
Excellent, tremendous.
Do you feel like you're going to win this by-election?
Well, fingers crossed, it's very close.
And what do you think about Layla Cunningham's recent statement that Charlie Downs, this Restore spokesperson, is a neo-Nazi?
It's a lovely day in Gordon and Denton, and we're going to win. Fingers crossed.
What do you think about fractions on the right wing? Do you feel like that's going to damage your chances in the national election?
We're going to win here, hopefully, but it's going to be close.
I mean, the bookies have the Green Party at 42%. So
Right, Pete?
I do feel like parachuting a candidate that's in St Albans may have not been your best odds.
Richard, will you be getting gone by the time we're replaced? Will you care?
Yeah, funny enough, in a Sun's interview, you said that demographic replacement won't affect you because by then you'd be dead. Do you think it's sensible for a politician to speak about their mortality and say that you shouldn't have long-term policies to affect this country?
Well, if you look at my British sovereign wealth fund policy, that's a 100-year policy. And it's going to help make Britain more prosperous. You said you'll be getting gone, so you don't care.
Well, have a look at that. What do you think of that? So again, I'm going to show you another one here. Important Restore Britain news. Our first branches are officially up and running. Local events are already being arranged, and if you're one of those areas, you will soon receive an invitation. The plan is to roll out across the country over coming weeks. Hundreds of branches are already in the works. We have over 95,000 members polling incredibly well, and we are dominating the national conversation. 10,000 plus patriots have offered their time to help. A number that is growing every day. Detailed policy papers have been released, and there are plenty more in the pipeline. For those who think we are just going to fade away, you are sadly mistaken. Restore Britain is here to stay. We have the resource, the people, the determination, and the balls to win the next election. I promise you that. It is our country. It is now our collective responsibility to act. Join the party today. And there is that coming from there. Who is this guy? 23-year-old RF pilot, Brian Sandy Lane, mentally and physically exhausted after 30 hours of dogfighting in the battle of Britain in 1940. Exceptional bravery and stamina. He was shot down over the North Sea and his body was never recovered. Lane left behind a wife and no children. Look into his eyes. What did he fight for? Did he fight for people who can't and won't speak English to determine the future of our nation? I agree. A very powerful statement. Catherine Brakelock, every single person in Cornwall is talking about Rupert Lowe. I don't know about every single person, but you're probably close on it. A defence on the brink. Ex-MI6 chief Sir Richard Dearlove says Zach Polensky is a threat to Britain's defence and national security. This man is really dangerous, making crazy statements about NATO. He's come out with some weird ideas about military alliance with Brazil and Mexico. He wants to protect the cartels, that's why. You mean the Israeli State Department, the US branch of Mossad and the IDF. Tommy Robinson was invited to the US State Department and posted a photo from inside the building. They called him a free speech warrior and said the West is stronger when people like him fight for free speech. Oh, really? Tommy Robinson, I'm a Zionist working for Israel. That's what he's evidently said. He warned about paedophiles. Yeah, no, there are certain elements I agree about. But I will say this, and I'll always say it, when Tommy Robinson lost me was when he said, and I quote exactly on a video on Twitter, that if you don't support Israel, you are a jihadist. I am 100% not a jihadist. I support England. I am about England and England first. And again, there's millions of the English, and still we haven't got anyone directly talking about the English, and they need to be talking about England. And by the way, Barrow-in-Furness is in England. Cumbria or Cumberland is in England. Right, so everyone needs to understand what we're doing there. Chuck money, that tells you how controlled American Robinsons are. Again, I had a really good conversation earlier about some of the things that I'm seeing. I've got a very open mind, and I will look with peripheral vision at what I think is going on and what not's going on. So, and again, say hello to Ollie Howe. We're coming up to the last 5 minutes. Don't forget, everyone, please send this out and get this Barrow-in-Furness. Literally, just come along there. We're going to try and start as early as possible. Barrow, what does it say? Has in Lancashire, pre-1973.
Was in Lancashire.
Oh, so Barrow-in-Furness was in Lancashire, pre-1973. So would you rather be back in Lancashire or Cumbria?
I'm technically a Lancashire lass.
Huh?
I'm technically a Lancashire lass.
All right, so I'm sitting here with a Lancashire lass. I like Lancashire lasses. There you go. So anything else? Anyone want to speak to me and say anything? Throw it out there. Andy973 AD. Tommy Robinson reminds me of Billy Wright in the Northern Ireland Post 1994. He's about to find out what happens when he served his use. You could be right there. I don't know exactly what you're saying. Which is, in my opinion, why he is, in my opinion, I don't know because no one's ever told me that he is claiming political asylum in the United States of America. That's why he ain't been turfed out. That's why he didn't have no ag. It was very likely. And I filled out them forms twice myself. 859, I think it is, or 589 or something like that. A good podcast, Graham. Thank you very much. So don't forget, everyone, put it out there. We want as many people as can to turn up at that event. You will see me suited and booted trying to deliver this seminar. Listen, I have got a bad back. I have got a bit of a cold. Hopefully that will resolve itself in the next day or so, meaning the cold. I might have to take a Lemsip or something to try and stop my nose running. And probably go for a few little walks to see if I can liven me back up a little bit. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Minnie Mouse 7, Keith 560. Good night, everyone. So I am going to say, real good luck to Nick Buckley. Hopefully everyone out there has voted for him. We want to see a different outcome. It will cause a problem for reform if they don't win. But we need... What's that noise? Oh, no. We do need people to start standing up and getting there. So there you go. Thank you very much, and I will speak to you all later. Don't forget what I believe in. The Constitution is the solution. So I'll be live again tomorrow night. I'll probably go live during the day a couple of times. I'm not going to do a live, but I will be recording I might have to go and buy another bit of kit, but I will be doing the recording there, but not sending it out live. But we need as many people there as possible, and then people like Rupert Lowe can see that there's people all over the country that are very interested in what we're doing. They're normally very well attended, but we need the locals to promote it and say, I do want to listen to what Graham's talking about with our constitutional rights and English rights, etc. There's no such thing as British law. There is an English constitution, there's a Scottish constitution, there's an Irish constitution, and people need to understand it is mostly in writing. It is codified. If it's not codified, why do they talk about Article 9? Why do they talk about Article 8? Why do they talk about Article 5, Article 6, Article 7, Article 1? It's because it's codified. And we need to take back our original settlement because it's the only and sole reason why the King of England is currently in place. And they've started to commit treason a long time ago by subverting our constitution. That's it. See you. Au revoir. Tiddly poo. Goodbye.